across the rank and file of the organization. LeadSquared is a customer-focused organization. I say that because it has never been that we have asked for something to be looked into urgently and we have not found anybody not responsive to our query or to our suggestion, etc. I think y'all are extremely agile. Y'all are fine with pivoting. You are fine with making sure that some good ideas that come from customers find their way into the product roadmap, and you are also empathetic while you assure us of the scale, of the primacy of operations. I'm assuming that all the customers have this parallel experience, but this is certainly what I have experience.
When we started in 2022, the most important thing I think for the implementation to be successful, essentially three: the people, the process, and the product. So I think all the three we got it right, and the product was able to take up the process and the people angle as well in the product, so that it was able to deliver it in a way it has to be delivered so that the people can start using it. It was not a tough job for us to make it adopted. It was easy because people found it easy to use. We have been able to take the product to many of the other processes as well, and we so far have been successful in terms of enabling this product for all the processes with respect to sales and predominantly pre-sales, and I would say more on the monitoring side of the performance.
Hi, my name is Manik. I lead digital transformation efforts for this world-class organization, and I also manage the analytics center. I've been with Bajaj Auto about 3 years. They're a very, very storied company. Bajaj Auto has been an extremely successful 75-year-old Indian multinational. And it is one of the most valuable automobile companies in the world, having approximately 9 crore automobiles on the planet with our brand on it.
So I am Varadarajan. I am part of digital analytics team in Bajaj Auto. I have overall experience of around 30 years in the automotive industry, and with Bajaj in the last almost 10 years, 2014 I joined. And as you know, Bajaj Auto is having a lot of verticals inside. So we have a lot of business units. One is called motorcycle, which enables all the commuter related bikes sale. And second is the pro biking, which deals with premium bikes, especially the KTM, Ram and Husqvarna and those high-end bikes. And we have our urbanite vertical, which is mostly on the electric side. So we do the electric scooters there, Chetak. And then we have the ICBU, what we call the commercial vehicles, which takes care of the auto three-wheeler, and we also have the electric version of it, which has been recently used and sold. So we have these 4 verticals inside the domestic. The entire business internally in Bajaj Auto is on these verticals, and digital is cutting across.
We had 2 or 3 problems. The first was that the sales process across the length and breadth of the country, which had greater than 6,000 sales outlets, wasn't standardized. As is usually the case, some guys were very good at it and some dealers got sales executive in the showroom. That position had enormous attrition, as you imagine, in entry-level sales jobs in the country. The third problem was that we weren't being able to measure exactly what was going right and what was going wrong for which brands and which business units in which geographies, so as to take action.
We had a very primitive inquiry management solution in the DMS, which used by dealers. And websites and all during those times were having limited functionalities in terms of the customer journey. So it was more product oriented. Some amount of lead forms which were created during that time were kind of integrated with our DMS, so the data used to come. But it was never having any intelligence, it was never having any rules, it was never having any workflows. It is also the maturity of the network. Since there have been no such systems earlier there, starting with something very big could probably lead to some issues in terms of change management. Then that is the reason why we thought we will start with some small areas and then see how it performs, and then slowly move towards the bigger one. So we started, as the way I said, telesales and then aggregators, then dealership. So it was more a cautious call in terms of not to take something very big in this space, but take a niche player who fits into the requirement and able to deliver as well.
We have SAP, the standard ERP solution that traces the path of the money. We have dealer management system that traces the path of the vehicle. We needed something that traces the path of the customer. LeadSquared fit in right there. Regardless of which BU you were inquiring with, or which motorcycle brand you were inquiring with, or which mode you were coming from, it could be digital, it could be a physical walk-in, it could be a mall, etc., etc. That advantage we got because LeadSquared, we made the single repository of tracing the path of the consumer journey, how a prospect turned into a customer. So LeadSquared is used by the telecaller. LeadSquared is used by the executive inside the branch. If you walked into any of the Bajaj Auto dealerships or the Triumph dealerships or the KTM dealerships, LeadSquared is used for activities for all our promotions that we do outside of the branch, be it in malls or in colleges, and we do a lot of these activations. And LeadSquared is also used by our partners. Bike Dekho. What we've ensured is that wherever we ingest prospects from, the entire wealth of how that funnel has moved and what the conversion ratios are captured onto a single pipe, so that the intelligence in the long run belongs to Bajaj.
No systems can kind of operate in isolation today. So BMS has been there for last 10 years, 12 years, we've been using it, and we had to do a lot of changes in both in terms of the integration piece and then the DMS piece to have those information coming back to us in the LeadSquared, and also the information from the LeadSquared going to DMS for the transaction to happen. Right? So we took a very cautious call in terms of managing this integrations, because we felt that going ahead in the digital transformation programs, the integration is going to be very key. The product has got the natural capability to connect with MuleSoft and then take up all those integration touch points. The last 2 years, I would say the productivity of the dealership in terms of the salesperson time and understanding of the lead before conversing with the lead. The inquiries have grown up in terms of the numbers getting captured. And the process of follow-up has become so easy. And we were able to define rules in terms of how do we manage the follow-up within 3 hours, how do we manage follow-up within 24 hours. So these kind of ability for the platform to set all these kind of rules, and then the monitoring mechanism in how many leads have been contacted within the 3 hours, within the 24 hours, and putting the governance in the dealership has resulted in a good conversion, good number of people visiting to the showroom, and essentially adding up to the last KPI of conversion.
For commercial areas, we put out the key account management. For our motorcycles division, we needed a separate performance management and dealer engagement kind of a facility, for which we created another customized module for our secondary network and put it on top of the sales process. For our premium motorcycles business, we needed a separate process flow that would give joint ownership to the telesales executive and the in-branch showroom executive, so that both could answer the customer's questions and finally nudge the customer closer to the sale. We wanted direct call patch to the dealership for premium motorcycles. We achieved that. We wanted connectivity to the bot for electric vehicles, because the very nature of the new drivetrain had loads of curiosity among customers and many questions to answer. We got that on top of the core process. So the modularity of being able to manage large scale at the base, be the single repository for all things customer for an organization as large as Bajaj Auto, and yet have the modularity to make sure that these specific jobs could be done for specific views. To sit alongside these processes, I think, is magical. I think by introducing a sales management system such as LeadSquared, we have not only made insights transparent from the moment of truth at the showroom, because that's where company meets customer and that's where the magic happens. From there into the inbox of the president of the business, seamlessly in real time. Unless we make it transparent and measurable, improvement is not possible. And hence, to me, the biggest value is in transparency and sharp measurement, so that actual leadership actions can be towards improvement. The Bajaj Auto architecture for a long time to come, and we are growing. We are growing every month, we are growing every quarter. Our electric business is growing at greater than 100%. Our commercial vehicles is growing greater than 25%. Our premium motorcycles are growing greater than 15% year on year. Right now, the completely unexplored territory is the exports business, and there, my view is that having introduced LeadSquared to a couple of our distributors in other Southeast Asian countries, I think some of that value, some of our distributors will start to get as the sales management process starts to get deployed. So I see a very deep analog partnership.